Well, I don't recall if I had mentioned to you guys the drainage issue with the chicken coop here, but I've done a lot to try to fix it. The key issue is that, when it rains and this chicken coop is wet, it smells awful, and my poor neighbors have to deal with it because this wooden fence right here is the property line and their driveway's right on the other side. So the first thing I tried to do was I put a ceiling in that part of the chicken coop because that was the original, and that way there was no water blowing into the nest boxes or anything like that, because you can see it's just an open coop, and that helped to keep rainwater out. But then the problem was, out there beside my driveway, all the rainwater that hits my driveway runs beside the driveway and runs right over here to the door of the chicken coop. It wants to run right down through here beside the garage. So even with my little roof up here, if we get a sustaining rain, this all gets wet anyway because water tries to percolate through. So what I'm doing is going through and digging a drainage ditch to come through, and I'm going to lay in a 3-inch drain pipe that will just be basically a bypass. I'll put like a lawn drain right outside the door, and then just run that 3-inch PVC line right through here and let it run open-ended out underneath the back wall there. So just trying to dig a trench, but you can see these little nosy pests get in the way. They're all down there in my trench. I keep having to push them out of the way with a shovel. You know, I don't understand it, why it's in their nature to dig and scratch and dig for bugs, but they don't apparently like to do it much unless I come out and help. So I'm going through, I'm stripping off all the composting chicken litter, piling up off to the side, and then digging down deeper into the base clay, pile it up here. So hopefully I won't get too much clay mixed in with the stuff that I want to throw in the garden. You can see I got a good little pile in there they're working on. But yeah, I just thought it was funny because these little varmints are out here all getting in my way. I'm sure they think they're helping, but yeah, you know, they're funny critters. Anyway, installing a drain pipe. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, so we got the line laid through. See it running the whole length of the coop there, and it sticks out underneath the back door. And so now all we'll have to do is go through and backfill the clay that I dug out and just basically pile it back on top of the pipe. It'll pack itself in. This is low pressure, non-glued. It's just basic drain tile. It just sticks together real quick, which makes it nice, quick and easy. What I did here on this end is I put an elbow up, and I put this conical shaped screen because I will have leaves and twigs and debris and stuff that will try to wash this direction. But I'll backfill all the soil grate up to this conical screen right here. And then, you know, with it being sticking up, you know, 2 inches like it does, it can take a lot of washing around it before it will actually fully plug off, and then I'll be able to just clean out right around it. It's a 3-inch pipe, so if I ever do get any sediment in, I'll be able to just pull this. This just sets in there. It's not glued, it just sits in. I'll be able to pull it out and shove a garden hose right down through it to flush it out if it ever does try to get plugged. So anyway, we'll go through on it here and backfill it. Alright, so there you go. We're at the bottom end now, and I'll probably need to get another 10-foot joint of pipe and just lay it out along the ground here, because that little stub end only sticks out about 6 inches, and I'm afraid over time it's going to want to backfill and you know, get sediment in there that'll block off that into the pipe. But we can just come on through the chicken coop now, and you can see all I've done is just knocked the clay back in on top of it. Let me get this latched up. I just basically, you know, back drug it off the pile just like you'd fill in any other ditch. Still got a big pile here, but that's mostly actually all litter that the chickens they'll scratch it down and knock it back down, or if they don't before long, I'll come in here with a pitchfork and clean all that and put it on the garden. That's all leaves that fell this year that I threw in here and let the chickens kind of scratch around in them, and of course you mix the carbon of leaves with nitrogen chicken poop and you get some good compost. So, you know, I'm just going to leave that pile. Like I said, the chickens will knock it in. You can see this is kind of squishy, but that's because I just piled it in. It'll settle, a little pack. Not worried about that. There's a little piece of pipe even sticking out there. But again, not worried about it. It'll all fill in over time. And let me come on through here to the top end, and we see the drain cap. Now, I had a little about 4-inch extension on it, and it was sticking up too high, so I took that off. It sits down now. Now the flaw here is that, of course, this system will still want to drain, you know, all the water that comes beside my truck and out there. It's still all going to run through here, so I'm still going to have a ditch here that I'm walking on. I might see about in the future, you know, putting a T-pipe here instead, putting an auxiliary drain and then coming over here at a 45 and running a standard perforated drain tile or something beside the driveway to try to alleviate some of all this water that runs through here, you know, because it really, I shouldn't have to go out to the chicken coop in my rubber boots for all winter. You know, I shouldn't have to wear mud boots to go get the eggs, but at this point I do. So anyway, oh shoot, anyway, it's done. It's supposed to rain this evening and tomorrow, I think, so we'll see how it does. Well, there you go, it's raining on us. It's doing its thing like it's supposed to. Because I didn't backfill as high as I should have against the dirt, you can see there is still some water in there in the Coop, just because it percolated underneath the wall. So I need to put about a 2-inch riser on that screen, lift it up a little bit, and then backfill dirt all in against the edge of the Coop there, just to make sure that this is the true low point, that we've got a good seal. But it definitely is helping, I think. I mean, seeing water run into it is proof enough that it's working. And out the opposite end, down there on the other end of the run, there's water coming out, so it's working, and you know, it can't hurt. That's kind of neat to see. That's just my proof that it's working. You can see the cleaner looking water flowing out. I just have a shovel in there, stirring that around, trying to dig that ditch a little deeper. That's where the end sticks out on the lower end of the Coop, but you can see obviously it's flowing. You can see it moving, flowing down here. This is what I was saying. I think I need to put another extension and dig the ditch on down and add another 10 foot, because the ground continues to slope as you go that direction, so we just get that water a little further away. But the outer portion of the run I'm not really worried about, since it's not roofed anyway. But the inner portion here, you know, the inner portion in front of the nest boxes and stuff, that's the portion that, you know, needs to be kept drier, because that's the portion that we go in and out to get the eggs each day, and it's the portion that of course is closer to the neighbor's house. So this part in here, the outer portion, if it gets wet, it's no big deal, because it also gets sunlight, so it dries back out. But this stuff in here, if it gets wet, like it is, it doesn't get any sun, so it doesn't dry out as fast, and the chickens muck around in it and then get mud and nasty all over the eggs. But you can see here, I just came in here and shoveled a little bit more in, try to fill in this spot that was wet by the door. Tried to pack it off. It looks like it's not percolating any more right away. This is real spongy. It needs time to settle and pack. But coming out front here, you can see, of course, I did put that little extension on there. Rise it up about 2 inches. You can see we got all pine needles and leaves, but you can hear it. You clear that debris away, it flows in there pretty quick. So unfortunately, we'll continue to always wash debris in here, so it'll always be a bit of a gamble how well this will work, but it's got to be better than nothing.